Welcome back to my $100,000 series. This is episode 2, which is 200k plus 1. In the last episode, we talked about my first $100,000, and that is mainly coming from savings and frugal habits. And the sad part is I didn't have a net worth tracker spreadsheet, so I didn't know the progress. But anyway, the first $100,000 is the hardest because it's going to take your entire 20 over or even 30 over years from the time you're born. But the next $100,000 is going to be much more easier because of compounding effect. You have to understand that compounding effect works better on a larger capital. So always focus on earning the larger capital first rather than the returns rate, especially when you are in your low $100,000 level or below that. Also, if you want to join like-minded people interested in building their wealth to financial freedom, then join us at close to 18,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram for free. But let me address the top comment on my previous video, which is the question of, is living with parents a privilege? My short answer to that is yes, but it may not be a yes due to what you think. Now, it's a very surface level discussion to say that if you live with parents, then you save money, then all this money can help you build more wealth, right? Then some people will use this point as a privilege because more money saved equals to more money earned to increase your net worth, right? And I tend to agree because this is a fact. You cannot run away from numbers. In numbers, it makes sense. But let's talk about a deeper level. First of all, if you're able to live with your parents, it is based on a healthy relationship that everyone can connect and live together and tolerate each other's living habits. Because as a kid or as a teenager, you have no choice. You have no income. But once you become a working adult, you have options, right? You have the income, you can spend where you want. But rather than saying that living with parents is a privilege, right? I would say that having a good family environment is the real privilege. Because you have to acknowledge the fact that there are many other families, there are many other homes with family problems that cannot make them live together. Or if they live together, there will be quarrels, there will be disagreements. It will not be peaceful. 正所谓清官难判家务事, which translates to even the judge cannot solve family problems. So if you're already a parent, I feel that the best financial decision for your kid is not to send him to tuition lessons and all these specific enrichment classes. Your best financial decision for your kid is to give them a good, healthy environment to live in so that they don't want to be so fed up living with you and move out and then waste money on rental. Because you always see online, people cannot live with their parents because of difference in habits, difference in ideals, and even difference in religion or political opinions. So, you see, if you want to cultivate a good environment that your kid can live in, then they don't have to rent outside what? But if you're working at a faraway place or you're working overseas, then obviously you will need to rent, and this is an additional expense. But this is already your own decision what? You want to look for better career prospects, you have to venture out. And you cannot blame your renter and say that living with parents people got privilege because this is ultimately your choice what? So for those of you who are paying rental and under some circumstances you are not able to live with your parents, then there must be some trade-off lah. So do I acknowledge that living with parents is a privilege? Yes, I agree that it is a privilege, but that's because you're brought up in a healthy, good, positive environment family that can encourage you and support you in whatever you do rather than having disagreements. That is the real privilege. So I know some of you very sour and envy already. You want to trade life with other families, see them so happy going around. But that's the fact of life what? We cannot trade life with other people. But you know what you can trade not? You can trade stocks and options with Moomoo Desktop. If you want to start trading, you will wish that there is an all-in-one platform that simplifies and speed up your trades to ensure you will never miss a market move again. Introducing Moomoo Desktop, the next-gen trading workspace developed by Moomoo for advanced desktop trading experience. And here are some good reasons why you should use Moomoo Desktop. Firstly, customizable workspace. This is my favorite feature because you can build your own trading dashboard choosing your widgets that matter to you. For example, Securities tab. I could view all the charts and analysis data that I need at the same time. And if I prefer any other widgets, I could also change the widgets and even rearrange them, making trading more efficient and convenient. Also, there's advanced options trading features. For options traders, Moomoo Desktop offers a powerful options screener with 65 plus filters. You can easily find the best trades even in fast-moving markets. For example, if I want to find an in-the-money option by at least 10% with high volume of at least 10,000, I just have to filter ITM and underlying options volume and key in my numbers and a list of eligible options will show up. If you haven't joined the Moomoo community yet, register using my exclusive link below and get up to 1,034 Singapore dollars in attractive welcome rewards. And enjoy a guaranteed 6.8% per annum return on your first 30 days in Moomoo Cash Plus. Once you have registered for an account with my link, go to the top right corner of my exclusive link and click here to download Moomoo Desktop to help you trade smarter and seize every opportunity. Please note that Moomoo Cash Plus is an investment product. Principal is not guaranteed, and up to 30 days of 6.8% per annum is guaranteed only during the promotional period. After the promotional period, interest is not guaranteed. This is not comparable and is different from fixed deposit or savings deposit. Back to the $200,000 update. So if you remember in the last video, I mentioned that I'd achieved $125,000 by the end of 2016 when I was still 25. Then the next year in 2017, I achieved around $156,000. And by the end of 2018, as of 31st of December, my recorded net worth was 200,000 Singapore dollars. Not US dollars, Singapore dollars. So that would be 2 years journey from 125,000 to 200,000. And that's where you see the compounding effect. So I'm trying to recollect some of these memories that make me save harder or invest harder, right? I remember there was one opportunity in 2016 where I was asked to be sent overseas. Consider it as a job rotation. So I was sent to Taiwan to work for 1 year in a factory, manufacturing factory. So people usually call this overseas work attachment, or more commonly known as expat. And this is where all your expat benefits come in. Like company will provide you the accommodation. They will even give you additional allowance. And if you are considered a high-ranking corporate person in your company, they may even extend the benefits to your family. Like you can bring your spouse, you can bring your kids, and even your helper. But not for me. I'm only a junior staff, I just went there alone. And that was when I stopped giving tuition as a service because I can no longer do side hustle. How can I understand Taiwan education? And in fact, you have to teach in Mandarin. So when you stay by yourself overseas with no friends, ultimately it's very low expense one because you got no social life. You got no friends. You need to make new friends either within the company or from your own little social circle. I think my monthly spend back then in Taiwan is like 500 Singapore dollars per month only. So the thing about living in Taiwan was that my Mandarin Chinese level up very fast because every day I'm using Mandarin Chinese to speak to my co-workers, to speak to my boss, to speak with the auntie, giving the Cai fan. But at the same time, because of my lesser use of English, my English become cui lah. Back then my English really cannot recognize already. Like I have to present financial reporting in Mandarin Chinese, Can you imagine? You try translating all these accounting terms like assets, liabilities, equity, income statement, okay? You try translate to Chinese and then you try to present it in Mandarin Chinese. I tell you, not easy lah, but it was experiential for me trying to present in Chinese. So the biggest benefit of me working overseas was not the money lah. I felt that the additional allowance, although it is good in monetary terms, but cannot outweigh my benefit of interacting with people from other countries and learning their culture and adopting a broader worldview. Instead of keeping myself to Singapore and then all I get is Singapore culture, Singapore language and Singaporean mindset, then I think it's always good to venture overseas, work overseas for at least 1 year. Then you can taste the life. Then maybe you will start to realize that Singapore is not as a bad place as you think. So my work attachment started from 2016 July then ended in 2017 July. And in 2016, I also made my first CPF top up to my retirement sum top up to special account. Back then the limit was $7,000 for RSTU, and the main reason was really for tax relief only. Until in 2017, then I learned that not just special account, MediSave account also can via voluntary contribution to MediSave. And back then it was a separate limit, not a combined limit like now. So I top up like 7,000 to RSTU and then 10,000 to VCMA. On the investment side, there is actually no change. I was still timing the market. I was still buying during dips. I did not do DCA because DCA is not very good for Singapore stock market. The commission charges is not worth it. And I still had zero US market exposure back then in 2016 and 2017 or even 2018. My portfolio was still mainly Singapore stocks, mainly in the REITs, telcos, and even some banks. In fact, if I remember, the US markets did quite badly in the year of 2018. So it's like a 6% down for the S&P 500, which ended at 2,500 points. But I did not have any US market exposure back then, so I thought like the market quite good. So if you are skeptical, you must be on very high salary, right? You go overseas work. I can tell you, the base salary back then in 2018, and that was the year when I achieved 200,000. My base salary only slightly more than 4,000 only, But $4,000 in 2018, if we base on an annual inflation rate of 3.5% after 6 years, right? So $4,000 multiplied by 1.035 to the power of 6, that's around 4.9k now. As a 3-year experienced person in the accounting field, financial planning and analysis, alright? 4.9k, I think quite okay lah. Not overly high, not overly low, right? And 4.9k is in 2024 dollars. It was 4k in 2018. Let me be very clear. 4k only. So my $200,000 portfolio breakdown in 2020 was as follows: $150,000 in Singapore stocks and ETFs, $20,000 in bonds, $1,000 in SRS, and $29,000 in cash. This time round much better already, right? Much less cash allocation. And you see the stock portion is now majority of the portfolio, but still no US market exposure. Hiya, really quite regret. Should have learned about US markets and how to trade and invest in US markets better. But let me know, what is the next update you want to see? You all want to see 300,000 or you want to jump straight to 400,000? So if you are 3,000 camp, you comment 300k plus 1. If you want to express and jump track to 400,000, then you comment 400k plus 1. But regardless of the 300k plus 1 or 400k plus 1, I still have my eyes set on the ultimate goal, which is $1 million US by 35, which I already did an update recently, so you can check out the progress and the status right here.